Put on that Picard theme music, man.
Hello, welcome to Subspace Transmissions, Picard number 2.
A We Were Gamers production.
We Were Gamers production cast. Not solely about Picard, but always about Star Trek. There we go. I nailed it.
Yes.
I got it.
Yes.
Hey,
got it.
That Picard music. It was a good lead-in. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's good.
I watch the opening every time because I want to feel the feeling like I do with Discovery of getting used to it, like we did with TNG when you couldn't skip it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, you could walk away from the TV, I guess. Or
you hit that Netflix button that skips it. But
okay, yeah, but when you originally aired, you got to know the TNG, the DS9, the Voyager music, and the opening by heart because you had to watch them. There was no skip it button. And so I'm kind of like trying to let that wash over me with these new series to see if I develop the feelings for them. And I have to say I like this Picard music more and more each time. The opening visuals, not as much as the music. But now that I've started to hear the music in the episodes, it's growing on me, the little riffs that they're able to do.
Yeah,
with it.
They got like a leitmotif thing going on or whatever, right? So like, oh, here's this person's little do-do-do sound or whatever. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not a music person, but I like the opening credits of this show. Or I have eventually decided I like them. I think is where I got. I was kind of on the fence about them to start with, for sure. But
I was definitely on the fence.
That's okay.
Yeah. I'm still a little bit on the fence with the visuals. And I don't know. It's fine.
The visuals are what they are, I guess.
It serves the Picard show, for sure. Hi. Welcome to our podcast. That's JJ.
Hello.
We were talking about music. I'm Andy, as we led this thing in, and I thought that was a good intro to the next 4 episodes, possibly broken over 2 parts. We'll see how long this one was, because we did, 2 hours last time?
Yeah, it was like an hour and 40 or hour and 30 or something, yeah.
Trying to do 3 episodes, but since our last podcast, it's been a month, which means there have been episodes 4, 5, 6, and 7 of Picard, the middle chunk of the series, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
Season? They've been renewed, right?
Yeah, they said like almost after episode 1 or whatever that, they were going to do a second season. So.
All right. So now we get more backstory and plot of the current story.
Yeah.
Oh no, that voice
I don't know.
The downtrend there.
This whole so like picking up at episode 4, right? Episode 3, it's like, all right, they're off on the adventure. Stuff is happening. We're ready to go. We've done all the backstory. Let's go. Immediately, we take a detour into
Flashback.
Like Picard and all the like Romulan stuff that he was up to, and this little kid.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh no.
It might have been more interesting to go to the planet first and have Picard experience how bad off things were there. Vashti?
I don't remember the names of any of the planets in this show.
Before we ran into like, look, Picard had made a peaceful world here, and he had like a little orphan boy. Mm-hmm. Speaking of the story of episode 4, 14-year flashback to the Vashti resettlement of the Romulan people. We meet Elnor, who is being raised by the
Kawat Milan or something like that.
Milan?
Something like
that.
Who
are a sect of the Romulan Empire, another sect. We've now learned of 2 sects of the Romulan Empire that we've never heard of before.
There's the Kawat Milan, who are supposed to be like warrior sister ladies or ninja warrior ladies.
Yeah.
And then we have the Jad Vash, who are like ultra double secret probation
Tal Shiar.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I kind of hate Elnor and everything about him. He sucks.
Oh man,
that's my opinion.
It seems like their attempt at making the what's that character's name in Guardians?
Guardians what?
Batista's character in Guardians.
Oh, yeah, Drax.
It seems like an attempt to make a Drax character because the Qowat Malat may have what they call the absolute candor. They practice everything antithetical to the Romulan Empire. They don't lie.
And they have total openness, and they will full emotion all the time.
Yeah.
Weird. Or whatever. I mean, I guess it is what it is. Elnor is not a good character, man. I don't like him. Why is he in this show? Why do they do this?
I would like to Hold on. I would like to posit another theory to you very quickly. Most of my notes in episode 4 are kind of about how... Are we allowed to curse on subpods?
Yeah, sure. I don't know. I don't care.
Picard's kind of a shit person.
Dude, he sucks. In this episode in specific, he sucks. I'm like...
I mean all the way through episode 4, or episode 7. I mean, he gets admonished in episode 7.
Yeah.
Hold on. Spoilers.
We'll get there.
Spoilers ahead for all these episodes, to be clear.
Yeah, we're going to spoil everything about Picard that we know.
But he gets taken down a peg in episode 7.
Kind of deserved it. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Seems fine.
Absolutely. And even in episode 4 here, he deserves what he gets, which is Elnor saying, like, no, I'm not coming with you. You only want someone to come with you because you need a assassin. You could care less about me, which is kind of true.
Yes, that is true. Why does he need the assassin? He doesn't need him. What the hell? Don't have him in the show. It would be fine. Nothing of value is lost by not coming here.
I don't know. Future Borg cube action later on with Elnor might be important. It's
unclear.
I kind of get it, right? Like, he doesn't have a fighter. He doesn't have a trusted backer. He doesn't trust any of the people that he's with.
Fair.
So a Qowat
rightfully based on what we've seen
would be someone he could trust. Although, why didn't he just take the Tal Shiar with him from home?
Right, exactly. 2 people he definitely trusts implicitly.
Yeah.
And he knows are capable.
Right.
Plus, they're rad, and I like their characters, unlike Elnor, who I don't like.
I had a theory about Elnor, which was that it was going to provide a juxtaposition to Soji in Picard essentially having to become a parent here, right? He's got to become a parent, and he was basically almost a parent until he abandoned this orphan. Because he doesn't want to be a parent. He's incapable of that kind of behavior, it seems.
Here's the thing, right? Let's talk about the character of Captain Picard for a minute.
Sure.
You know, he doesn't like kids. Remember there were whole, multiple episodes of The Next Generation talking about how he doesn't like kids and how he's awkward around them.
He's only liked one kid, and that kid is dead.
And how he doesn't, exactly, and how he doesn't like them, and it doesn't go good with him and them, and he kind of just, keeps them at arm's length for all that reason. And then we get to episode 4, and we see flashback. Picard is this admiral guy now, and all of a sudden he gets along great with kids.
I think it's just this one kid. No,
why this one kid?
It's this one kid. He's an orphan, and this kid is glommed on to him, and he's kind of also shit at dealing with this kid. He wants to read the story to him. The kid asks him a question about the story, and he's like, "No, be quiet. I'm reading the story." And then he gets told by the priestess there when he makes him a promise. He's like, "Don't." She's like, "Don't promise to kids. Promises are prisons. You're not going to keep your promise to this kid. Stop it." So there's a lot here to Elnor as a character and maybe an actor. I don't know. We haven't seen a lot of him. He doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
It's 4 episodes doesn't do that much.
Every character on not every character, but every kind of side character that isn't Jurati, Rios, and Rafi basically is barely in the show.
Yeah.
So, I would be happily proven wrong in the back half of this show, and there will be great scenes with Elnor, and things will be good, and I will eat this cake and be happy about it.
That's fun.
But as of thus far, he's barely in the show. It seems like a distraction.
I 1,000%
agree. His is barely going anywhere. Yeah. Like, he could have just had him die on that cube at the end of whatever that episode was, and then I would have been happy.
I'm not defending the characterization or character of Elnor. I just do believe I understand, especially going back to Vashti, showing that Picard is kind of very unaware of the world outside of himself.
Mm-hmm.
He's unable to grasp that the way Picard, and we've had this before, like the Admiral said he's full of hubris, which he is. He takes that Romulan sign down and tries to like, I'm going to give the Picard speech and everyone will come along. And the Romulans are like, nah, how about you pick up this sword? I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
You know, so
I do
it's an important episode for
that
that reason, I think.
I do enjoy that Elnor's thing is like, friends choose to live.
Yes. Every time, friends choose to live. Even in the cube
co-op thing or whatever. But
I love it. I love that scene in the cube later where he's not even on the screen and neither are the people he's killing, but you just hear him you hear him down the corridor. Friends choose to live. You just know what's going on down there.
Also, I want to point out, like, isn't the guy that Elnor kills here on this planet, whatever, Vashti or whatever you said it was? Yeah. Isn't he like a Romulan senator or something? Isn't it kind of a problem to be killing people who are like important political figures in the community?
It's implied. It's implied that the Romulan senator was no longer a senator. It's just member of some sort of gang.
Oh, okay.
They had all those arm badges on, and it was like, okay, these guys just a punk. Yeah, the whole planet stuff is kind of I haven't seen you in 14 years. Let's go is kind of But this episode also has two really cool character introductions. One is maybe the best version of holographic Rios, which would be Emmett.
Wait, Emmett? Which one is Emmett?
The one that appeared at the weapons station while they were fighting off the Romulan bird of prey.
I don't remember this.
He speaks mostly or all in Spanish, and he just kind of doesn't care.
Is he the shirtless one?
No, it's not the shirtless one. It's the scraggly hair, long-haired one.
Okay, I gotta go rewatch it.
Yeah,
I don't
just go to the end and rewatch.
He hasn't showed up again yet.
No, he has not. They have not needed him again yet. But he speaks all in Spanish. He kind of is like, "Oh, we're getting shot at," and Rios is like, "Shoot back, dude."
Yeah, I like Rios a lot. Easily my favorite character in this show currently.
Really growing on me as a character.
Really.
Already liked him. Growing on me as a character. And then of course,
Seven. At the end here. Yeah.
Is saves their lives by destroying a bird of prey and then passes out.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of it.
Like, hey, Picard, you owe me a ship. And then she passes out.
I don't think he owes her after all this other stuff later.
No, I would say not. I
think they're free and clear. That's kind of it. Episode 4. Not a lot of backstory. A lot.
And then, you get the stuff with like, what's his name? Merrick is still trying to seduce or whatever Soji.
Yeah,
and
but really none of it was that.
Yeah, but it's like it's kind of spinning its wheels here.
Yeah, there's a lot of like, I'm planting the seed of doubt and it's like, okay, whatever, fine.
Yeah,
but those are the main beats of adding a character and saying, hey, Picard really messed up this whole relocation thing on that end too.
Yep.
So, ever in love with flashbacks, we go to episode 5 for another 13-year flashback.
Yeah, geez, man, this show, like, can we just have stuff happen in the present, please?
Or, yes, both of these flashbacks, maybe the flashback to the planet getting destroyed, that one episode was important, where the synths blew up Mars or whatever.
Right, like it seems to be a central mystery of the show, so we should probably get some stuff there. And like starting the entire series off with a flashback doesn't feel as bad.
No, but going back for a 3-minute one here where I didn't understand what was happening. I knew who it was, but I didn't understand what was happening, which was kind of sad to kill off.
Like really violent. Like really violent.
Very, very disturbing in its violence too. So like okay, what we're talking about here is 7 of 9 finds Icheb, I think is his name.
Yep.
Icheb from Voyager, who was a little kid in Voyager.
He was a young adult.
Who Seven had kind of took under her wing towards the end of that show as an ex-Borg, XB, I guess.
I hate that.
You do?
Yes. XB. Why? You could just be an ex-Borg. That's fine. You don't have to be why?
Hugh talks about trying to create an identity for their
I
race.
understand. I am not mad at Hugh and his attempt here. I just don't like the acronym they chose. Anyway.
Yeah, it's easy to understand how it came to be instead of like the Reclaimed or something like that. You know?
Yeah.
It starts to sound like a video game the further away you get from just saying ex-Borg. So
yeah. Anyway.
So they ace Icheb in this like very violent scene where the woman is trying to disassemble him, basically.
So I read some stuff online, and I don't know how much of this is true. So I'm going to just like caveat this as possibly entirely rumors. So the original actor who played Icheb is not this guy.
I see. Okay.
The original actor who played Icheb is kind of a not great person online, let's say.
Oh. What happened?
Or that happened at some point, and he was not asked to return because of it.
Oh.
So
in the show that has made a point to try and really bring things back.
Yeah, to be less like terrible about various things in the fiction of the show, right?
Right.
And so is this some kind of like weird revenge from the screenwriters or something on this character for being like, this person was shitty, so we're going to kill you in a really bad way? Am I reading too much into this?
Yeah.
Okay. Is this just like really, really violent, dude? Just like, even for this show where they do show blood sometimes and people get killed on screen, this is just like, let's watch the movie Saw together where we cut people open and like drill into them.
I had a comment that I was going to save for later about this, but in episode 5 and 6 here, we really drift away very far from what Star Trek has been in terms of its violence. And 7 of 9 even talks about it at the end of this episode, I think it is.
Yeah.
Where she goes down to Free Cloud and the violent nature that has kind of overtaken the galaxy. It really seeps into the timbre of the show, and in this scene especially, I was very taken aback by like the flippant way the lady's like, "Where's your node, dude? Where's your cortical node? I'm gonna just rip it out of you. I need to
murder you now. Let me do some murders here. I need to kill you real good and make sure that everyone watches all this blood and stuff, because this is a cool,
the eye getting
show.
Pulled out and all that kind of stuff."
Yeah,
and,
not a big fan of the tone.
That tone, especially, is kind of.
Which then
it's been creeping in slowly, and then all of a sudden just hits you right now. Like,
and then like, oh wow, the ludicrous juxtaposition between that tone and then what happens in the rest of the episode, where it's like a fun time, like
fun time Crime Planet play.
Yeah, exactly. And like, oh, we're all going to dress up as like cool gangster guys, and Picard is going to ham it up as much as is humanly possible, I think. And as like this horrible French accent and everything, like intentionally bad, right?
Yeah, and it seems
so weird. Why do this? Why juxtapose it that way?
Because it's I think what they're doing is making fun of TNG in this episode. Because this is the type of thing that would happen on the holodeck all the time. In
Absolutely.
TNG and Voyager, right? Oh, we are going to go to the French Riviera of 1914, and we will all pretend to be like that kind of stuff, right? And then, the Sherlock Holmes guy gets released, and now we got a problem and a real episode here, and Data's got to solve, that blah blah blah. the tone of it, right, was always so flippant. But at the same time, we're expected to believe that the galaxy has fallen into, like, Icheb getting murdered for his Borg parts. The just somewhere in Romulan X-neutral zone is a place called Free Cloud that's allowed to exist in this universe, where it's just sort of like super crime planet. But also on super crime planet, you're supposed to dress like I don't know, some sort of flamboyant pimp or something because you're a go-between. And but you should take this seriously because of the tone. It's a very odd episode. Episode 5 is. I don't know that I dislike it.
I agree with you, actually. I kind of had fun with the whole, like, let's dress like flamboyant gangsters and go around and act silly and, like, listening to Picard literally just ham as much as is possible. Like, you could tell they were like, all right, we summon all that Shakespearean gravitas.
And then make it bad.
Throw it out the window, please. Okay, now all that's gone. Now, bad impression of a French accent, go.
Yeah.
It was a lot. But the episode was fun.
And it's a good episode in that it. Oh man.
And so they reveal a few things here, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, right? Like
that Rafi, Dr. Jurati was with Maddox, not that she was just like looking for him or he was her mentor or whatever.
Right.
No, they were like together. That was a thing.
Yeah.
They reveal that here.
There's a really great reference, another Deep Space Nine reference they throw out for Quark.
Oh yeah.
Did you hear that one? Yeah, that was a good one. Rafi has a son.
Yeah, you learn about her whole. You learn more that she sucks, which we already knew.
And kind of has this episode cements my hierarchy of characters I care about and the stories I think they're telling with those characters and how good they are. It's like Rafi keeps falling towards the bottom of the list here.
Oh, she's the worst. I would not. I feel bad for her character, right? She's clearly in a bad place, but
she's still one of those like, I'm totally clean. I'm clean, and then the next episode, because she gets rejected by her son,
can I have $50?
She's like straight up on stims and venom and alcohol and everything else, and it's like, okay, the character arc that you are writing either go one way or the other. She's clearly not clean, and we're gonna just have to deal with that, or like she gets rejected by her son and says, you know what? This is the time I have to man up and
I really got to get my life back together.
Yeah, I have to help Picard and prove that my theory is right. Right? Like, he rejects her because he thinks she's some sort of crackpot.
Which, I mean,
she might be.
Might be.
Clearly, she's not, obviously. It is some sort of conspiracy.
It's a TV show, right?
Yeah.
They got to make it. Yeah. We got to have an arc here.
Right.
It doesn't matter because we're not going to find that out this season. That's my prediction.
Yeah, you're probably right. Well, you know most of it now, right?
Yeah.
That she's right. There's just like whatever she says the cabal is, we're not going to get revealed. But you know the people that are involved. The other thing you get is like the thing that has been obvious from the beginning to me. Yo, Agnes is not on the up and up.
Oh, wow. What a surprise.
Shocker.
After that flashback where she was visited by very obvious traitor security captain Romulan posing as Vulcan or whatever.
Can I say something I don't like about television shows?
And then they're like, oh, she's fine. And then now, like, oh, she's kills her lover or whatever that guy is.
She straight up kills Maddox, which is crazy.
Yeah, she like murders him.
And we don't find out why until the next episode, and I want to get to that later.
You don't find out until 7.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so what do you hate about TV shows?
She says the thing. She says the thing, and it's the reason I have stopped watching shows in the past, which is a version of you don't know everything.
Okay, so why do you hate TV shows? That's what you said.
No, you're right. You're right. She says the thing. Dr. Jurati leans over Maddox as she's killing him and says basically like, you have to die because I know something. We know that you saw Commander O, right?
Right.
They do this later with a different character a little bit, Thad, which is fine. They use it better than they do here. I don't like when you know the character knows something, but the show just doesn't tell you. because they need to save it for some sort of surprise moment or whatever.
Yeah.
All we needed earlier was for them to finish the Dr. O scene. And I, personally, would have been more nervous about Agnes being part of the group because I know she's not on the level, but the other characters don't know, right?
Right. Dramatic tension in that the audience knows, but the characters don't know, and that creates the tenseness in the scenes.
It's okay to tell the audience what Agnes knows.
Yeah.
The other characters
especially because
know.
It's like unbelievably obvious that as soon as they had that scene with her, that like she was going to be a traitor or something.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
So who are you fooling? Stop trying to fool people.
You're only fooling people who don't pay attention, right? Like,
I'm paying attention. People that watch Star Trek are paying attention. There's no good narrative.
And even if they're not paying attention, telling them doesn't harm the storytelling.
No. So the episode 7, where we get another flashback, this time to a flashback inside the show, is not helpful, right?
Oh, yeah. The one in 7 is pointless. It's just like, it's like finishing the stuff that we had an idea of what was going on. They're actually telling us what's going on. I guess that's good. But like, she gives her a mind meld.
Okay, yeah, okay.
We'll come.
You
want
to just jump to it now? Because
no.
Okay, all right.
Let's do 6.
But this is the thing I don't like about shows, and it's shows. Fringe did it all the time. All these things do it all the time. You don't know everything, and it's a character talking to another character, but it's really a character talking to the audience, right?
Yeah.
Where I'm killing you, Maddox, because I know something that someone told me, and I have to do this thing that clearly the shows tried to set up at the beginning of the episode, saying they were lovers. You know, it's a dramatic moment. It's better, personally speaking, as a dramatic moment, if the reveal of this episode is, oh my God, they were lovers. I know she's already in this to try and kill Maddox.
Yeah. So like that would have been a better reveal, right? Like the twist being that they were lovers. If we had just seen the other whole thing to start with and just like, oh, she's already the traitor. She's been asked to kill her lover this whole time. It's way worse than just killing some guy.
What if they don't tell you that until they get Maddox, and on Maddox's pad is videos of like
of her and him together,
and stuff, oh, the whole crew finds out they were lovers, and then she kills him, but nobody knows, and they're all sad for her. That's such a good moment that is like thrown away here for some sort of
stop trying to be a better writer
mystery.
Than the people on this show. Okay?
I know. I'm sorry. Michael Chabon is the writer on this show, and he's a good writer. He's won a Pulitzer Prize. Obviously, I have not won a Pulitzer Prize, but I'm real tired of shows trying to like hold stuff back from me on purpose that I already know.
Yeah, especially in this case where it was like super obvious as soon as she met with the commander, like security lady, that it was gonna be her that does whatever the bad thing is. We don't know what, right?
Okay.
She's gonna sabotage us somehow, obviously.
So anyway. Crime Planet has crime people that do crime things. There's a character that gets introduced so that 7 of 9 can have a plot device.
To murder him and the other character later.
Him and them and everyone else. And they get Maddox. Maddox tells Picard where to find Soji.
Then 7 goes back and murders everyone.
7 tells Picard she's good. You know, they buy off the lady and then tells Picard, hey, man, I'm going to go do my freedom fighter thing. I'm sorry we don't see eye to eye on me being a vigilante, but this is the way the universe is. Which is kind of what I was going to say is like a big plot point here in making the show tonally different than TNG and trying to remind you that like, yo, this universe isn't the same as TNG's universe, kind of.
Yeah.
And then she goes back and aces everybody, including the lady that stripped Icheb of his parts, which feels good in the moment, but also might not feel great later. When you think about what Janeway tried to do with 7, right?
Yeah, I don't know. This is like, I understand when Jerry Ryan has given interviews, it says like, I had a hard time finding the voice for this character. It's like, well,
now I know why.
I get it. This is some real whiplash writing here from like, you know, Yeah, so I don't know. It's tough, especially from where the character left at the end of Voyager.
I think there's more to come with her based on this moment at the end where she asks Picard, "Hey, when you were removed from the collective, do you feel like you regained your humanity 100%?" And he's like, "Nah, not really. Yes, but no."
It was like, yeah, I work on it every day, right? That's what he says.
Yeah. So
that was a good moment. I actually really liked that part. That was maybe I don't know if it was my favorite part of the episode, but it was close.
I think this one, while being one of my favorite episodes, is also one of my least favorite. Yeah. I love the Crime Planet in terms of its ridiculousness, and the story that it tells of 7 of 9 is good.
So but that ridiculousness
stuff with Agnes really bothers me. Uh-oh.
Well, moving on.
Yeah, okay, so episode 6.
Time to go to the Borg cube. And immediately, finally, like all through 4 and 5, we were kind of just spinning our wheels with Soji and Narek over there. And now some stuff is finally popping off. Soji is kind of like, for whatever reason, feeling that stuff is not right.
This episode opens with, okay, we're ready to tell the Soji story finally.
I know, right?
It really feels like that.
She tries to like stab herself awake because every time she calls her parents, she falls asleep after exactly 70 seconds or whatever.
Which we already knew, right? We could tell from that one episode.
We knew that, right? That was, we definitely saw that happen to her sister.
Daj,
thank you.
It's interesting. They keep saying, "Oh, we can't tell her she's an android or she'll activate and kill us all." But he's basically like slowly plying her with like, "You're probably an android." You know,
I think that was his whole thing, though, was to like get her to feel kind of off balance so he can do the thing he does and get the information he's looking for. Right.
They do like a trance meditation or something later on in this one. Come on. Hold on. We got to talk about Rios in the beginning playing soccer and drinking before everyone else is awake on the ship.
Mm-hmm. Love it.
And then a very awkward Agnes needs to feel better, so she drags him to her room.
I got a lot of like, oh Christ, like my note literally says, "Oh Christ, Dr. Girardi is already macking on Rios. This won't end well."
Literally, then and later will not, right?
Yeah, it's like that was my note. Like I was just like, oh wow, this is gonna end bad.
Yeah, wow.
And then I have like in big all caps, it's like homeworld. You know, like what is the idea of a homeworld for androids? What does that even mean? You know, like why did they?
Data had a homeworld, right? You know, he was where we said he was created and grew up and all that kind of stuff with
sure
the colonists. So wherever you're manufactured, I guess.
Yeah, it's just that whole idea of like these people being these, you know, manufactured synthetics or whatever having a homeworld like threw me off. I was like, what? Like this is the thing they really wanted to know?
Yeah. Poor Rios. He's going to get dragged into this. And anyway, so Soji freaks out and like carbon dates her stuff or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Finds out she's 3 years old. Doesn't freak out and activate though. They go to the cube.
Yeah, it's like Picard really has a bad day.
Rafi is super off the wagon, but gets them on the cube. And then I think my favorite moment of the whole show, Picard and Hugh meet.
Yeah, it was a good scene.
I had two distinct feelings when this moment happened. One, what a great story we're never going to find out about, which would be Locutus returns to the cube and all the XBs recognize Locutus and they have... I mean, people say it as he's walking through the cube. They're like whispering, like, "Oh, Locutus," you know.
Do the they? Story, I don't remember.
At
that
least
part,
twice, I heard background characters say Locutus.
Okay.
There's a really cool story or side story or a couple episodes where a different version of this explores him going to the cube and helping the XBs cope.
Yeah,
because. Just like when he returned Hugh to the cube and the individuality spread and caused the breakdown of the cube when it was cut off, you know, like he could then help them all again.
Yeah, there's definitely a story, a different show that could tell a story here that is like, hey, how do you deal with, despite what they told us at the start of this series, they're like, hey, this is going to be about dealing with trauma.
It's really about Picard dealing with his trauma. It's not about anyone else dealing with trauma.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. So they're not here to tell you the story of like how does Hugh and Picard help rehabilitate these XBs. Nah, this is about like Picard's journey to become a less shitty human, I guess. Because even in episode 7 later on, he says, "Yeah, I have a new crew. Man, they all have baggage." It's like I'm uninterested in their baggage. I have my own problems. And it's definitely you don't have any baggage here, old man.
He says he does. He absolutely says he does. But unlike every episode of TNG, when he's like all about like, Riker, what are your problems? I'm going to help you.
Yeah.
He says his new crew has baggage, and he's just like, nah, I am not interested in it. And so I'm like, okay, so are we going to deal with it as an audience, or are we just going to like breeze over some of it? Because some of it's really interesting. Rios could be a very cool character where he doesn't want to deal with like having lost his whole crew, but he's clearly falling in line behind Picard, like as a captain, right?
He's like Rios is like the only person that is together enough on this ship to deal with everyone else's crap.
And yet, and yet
he himself is way screwed up. Yeah.
And yet he's up first thing in the morning, kicking his soccer ball around, drinking whiskey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a show about trauma. I really hope we don't over focus on Picard's trauma without the other traumas that have been set up. Like, he shows himself looking at himself in the mirror as Locutus. 7 of 9 is an XB. Hugh is an XB. They're all dealing with traumas.
Well, we get to, in episode 7, we get some of Soji's issues. But,
yes.
You know, I sure we will get more of that as this series goes on.
I hope this series takes the time to explore the collapse of the universe around these decisions he has made, is what I'm saying. With episode 6 here, we get the theory that it could, right? Like,
yeah, sure.
There's a moment where my heart just swelled up seeing Hugh and Picard meet again, and he says that line where he's just like, I don't care. I'm paraphrasing. I don't care why you're here. Whatever you want, it's, you know,
yeah, like let's do it. Yeah,
let's do it.
I'm here for whatever you need.
You helped me. The ultimate help, right? You gave me.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's my turn. And I knew it, you know, you kind of know when you hear that line, you're just like, oh man,
rip. Yeah.
R.I.P. dude. Because clearly
he ain't getting out of this one. Well, you know, like you heard about that treaty and all this stuff. You're like, oh, maybe he'll be protected. You know, the Romulans won't be able to. Yeah.
Yep.
So, you know, they do that meditation thing. Soji freaks out and like rips through the floor
I was surprised she
took
it so well after the dream, and then he tries to kill her.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. She's in shock or something, I guess, because like she clearly is not having a good time of it at the start of the next episode.
No.
So, and then I actually thought straight up that Elnor like died here. That this was like goodbye character Elnor.
Really?
Well, because they don't show it. It's like, he's like, don't worry, I'll protect you. Door closes. That's the like.
That's when you thought Hugh and Elnor were done?
Yeah, I was like, that is the standard off-screen death for like heroic character, right? That's like.
So you thought Elnor was just like straight up gone, huh?
Oh, I thought Elnor and Hugh were both like killed by like 500 Romulans coming down the corridor. I thought that's what was going on.
I mean, that could have been a heroic
obviously
end.
Not, it could have, but obviously that's not what happens because they both show up again.
Yeah.
Episode, so.
No, it could have been the Queen Cell thing is interesting.
Yeah, that was I don't remember the Queen Cell being a thing.
I don't think it was a thing. Okay, because a lot of people were talking about like, oh, so that's how the Borg Queen keeps popping up other places.
Yeah, I guess. This is like the thing that like
it's basically an escape transporter, like, but it's the type of transporter Scotty said was impossible, but he built one time, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Which shoots them days away at light speed.
Yeah, it's like, what did they call it? Projector or something? Anyway.
Trajector? Escape trajector? I guess is what they called it.
I feel like I heard that word used at one point on a Voyager episode, but I also could just be misremembering
It's possible. I mean, they trying to reuse tech and not make up a bunch of new stuff, it sounds like to me.
So, but it's also the power usage is too much or something. So there's only one, and it's only in emergencies.
Yep. There's another thing in the background of this that I heard that I hope is a thing. Did you hear when Hugh and Picard are looking for Soji? In the background, there's an alert, and it's like, alert, all members who have been inside the Borg area, please check your tags or whatever. Chronometric activity has been detected.
Oh, I didn't hear that. Interesting. Time shit, huh?
So, yeah.
Are we going to do some weird timey-wimey stuff with this show soon?
I kind of hope there's some timey-wimey stuff happening in the background here. It would be kind of cool if there was another subplot or something happening.
I'm not going to get my hopes up for this, but that would
either.
That would be really sweet if the characters are somewhere else on the cube at the same time.
There's there's another Hugh running around or something.
Yeah, who knows? That would be pretty cool.
I'd be into that. But I'm guessing it's just background noise.
Yeah.
But always on the lookout for stuff.
Mhm.
Okay. They escape to a place called Nepenthe.
Yeah, Nepenthe.
Which sounds like the Klingon planet.
It sounds like Rurapenthe, the Klingon penal colony from Star Trek VI.
But this one has healing properties.
Yeah, I didn't hear that part.
And poisonous rabbits.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, hold on, though. We have to start the episode with a flashback.
Yeah, because gosh forbid we do just like any storytelling in the present. We got to tell you, here's the scene that you knew happened between Jurati and Commander O, or whatever her name is.
She takes off those ridiculous sunglasses.
The I'm clearly a spy sunglasses to show you she means business this time.
And then straight up attack mind melds.
So, I don't know enough about how mind melds work. Can you fake those?
I sincerely believe, after watching this, that she used the mind meld as a weapon.
Okay. Yeah, clearly,
because
right?
She can't see the future.
Right, how does she know, right?
So she's basically projecting her fears of what would happen if synthetics were around?
Or showing her videos or something that she was watching when she became Jad Vash or something.
It seems like she's essentially using the mind meld to brainwash somebody.
Yeah.
Right? It's like instantaneous brainwashing. Look at these things that I'm showing you. Oh, I'm so afraid now of the future of synthetics that I'm going to throw my entire life's work out the window.
And murder my lover.
My lover and become deathly afraid of the android and not want anything to do with the thing that is my life's work.
Cool.
So to me, this was like a weaponized mind meld for brainwashing or something, which is a new.
New. It was certain. It certainly was It's weird because I don't. Did we ever see a Romulan do a mind meld before?
She's not a Romulan. She's a Vulcan.
Yeah, they say that though.
You think she's another hidden Romulan?
Yeah, the other girl was a hidden Romulan.
The other girl was
she was a human and then turned out to be a Romulan. Why can't a Romulan turn out to be a Vulcan?
I'm pretty sure,
especially since Romulans and Vulcans already look the same.
I'm 1,000% sure she's a Vulcan.
So then, why is a Vulcan the member of the secret Romulan Vash Jaj cult thing?
I think she's just working with them. Starfleet intelligence and the Zhat Vash are working together to prevent synthetics from being a thing, which has apparently tragic consequences, as we find out this episode.
Yeah. So you mentioned that this was a thing that you knew. I didn't know this. Was this a thing in the lore or something?
Oh, what about?
About
Thad?
Yeah.
No, I was saying earlier, this is another example of the something happened and we're not going to tell you what it is.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
until the convenient moment. But thankfully, this one is used within the same episode.
Yeah, it's less bad when they don't draw it out for 2 weeks.
And this one's a little bit more less ham-fisted in terms of it's like naturally they're not going to talk about it that much, you know. But they talk about it awkwardly to give you enough sense. Anyway,
like it felt okay. So this is
anyway. To wrap up that flashback thing, I wrote down big duh.
Yeah, exactly. Like this was so unbelievably obvious that this is what happened here. Or I assume I didn't think that she got attack mind melded, but I was pretty sure she got talked to sternly and flipped.
Yeah, I was not on the oh wow, she got brainwashed with a mind meld train, but definitely like flipped, right? Or threatened.
Or they're like, hey, we have your family over here to kill your parents or something, right?
Right, exactly.
The standard stuff that spies do.
Yeah. So we get to see Iron Man's house from
Yeah, you kind of do, right?
It's totally Iron Man's house.
It is. It looks a lot like it.
Yeah. And Kestra, who is Kestra Troy Riker.
Yeah. They hyphenated, I guess.
I assume they did. They did.
They show on the trophy of the dead kid.
Oh, it says Riker. Thad Troy Riker.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thaddeus.
Thaddeus, which is Riker's father's name, I think, or grandfather's name or somebody.
Sure, okay. I'll believe that.
I remember a Thad Riker being mentioned.
Seems reasonable. That seems like a thing a Riker would do.
It does, doesn't it?
It does.
It does. Although I'm surprised that Riker's middle name, like Thaddeus Jean-Luc Riker or something,
Right, yeah.
Thaddeus Worf Riker.
Well, there's no middle name on the trophy, so we don't know.
Yeah. TJ. Thad Riker. Thad Jean-Luc Riker, TJ. Oh, man, what if they called him TJ? It would be a lot better than JL every 5 seconds.
Oh, I hate JL. Stop it. I think that alone annoys me more than half of the other problems with Rafi's character.
I kind of agree with you. The best moment of the show beyond the Hugh hug, the second best moment of the show. Picard walks into Riker's house. Riker takes one look at him and yells, "Shields up!"
Yeah, I know. He like hugs him and like basically like dusts off all his like cheese and stuff all over the back of his shirt, and then is like, "Shields up. What do you need?
What's wrong? Shields up. Begin scans." And the house does it.
I know.
It's so good. So good. I laughed. I stood up and laughed, and I thought that was so good. So Kestra's their daughter. We get to meet her. We understand that like Thad has passed away, obviously. And he says to Kestra that he believes Soji to be Data's daughter, and Kestra spills the beans that Data's an android. And then we have to deal with 3-year-old teen angst, basically.
Soji has existential crisis for the rest of the episode, basically,
which is not bad. Obviously, that's probably what would happen.
Yeah, look, I'm not mad about it. It's just like that's going to be her character for a while.
Yeah. Nice. Bless you.
Dang it! I tried to reach that mute and I didn't get it.
Didn't happen. Staying in.
So I think I don't know. Does everyone in this show have to have like a bad time?
Oh, you mean like because Riker and Troy had a bad time and like everyone else?
Can't anyone have had a good life? Does everyone need to have like horrible trauma have had happen in the show? Is that what this is now?
Yeah, I guess so. This one makes some sense.
I mean, I
like it the most of all the traumas that people have now gone through in terms of the characters that Riker and Troy did not unbecome Riker and Troy just because of this trauma.
Yes. So it fits best with the characters here and like where they plausibly would have gone, in theory, like those characters and would have done, right?
Yeah, and saying
it's definitely a thing that's in line with them as who they are, who they would be, and they still seem to be those people afterwards.
And you get the such organic backstory of what has happened to them by telling Soji what happened to their son is like, yeah.
We grew up on a spaceships and we were traveling around, all this stuff. Like the thing that makes sense that would have happened to a child between those two who were career Starfleet people and would have still been doing that for a while, right?
Yeah,
sensible.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I liked it. That part,
and they don't give up their careers because they had a kid, and
right.
You get
because
the idea that
all the starships have schools on them. We learned during Next Generation, right? Like that was a thing.
Well, and you get the idea that Riker probably was a captain. He says at the end of the episode he's still on active reserve, and all this sort of stuff has happened, but we don't have to flashback it. We don't have to do any of that stuff. This is the most organic sequel to TNG episode, right? Like the rest of it feels like a different thing entirely. And this episode is so good to me at feeling like almost like you're in the ribbon with Kirk, from that episode where it's like, this feels natural.
That's a movie.
Yeah, I know.
Star Trek Generations.
Star Trek, but that moment feels so real.
It was, this episode in particular is, I think, what people thought they were going to get from this whole series.
Yes.
Coming in, right?
Absolutely.
It's like this big nostalgia factor. Here's the gang. We're all back together.
But we're not. We've had lives apart.
Look, and we're not going to stay together, but, we're going to see the guys, and then, we're going to have to go off and do our own thing. And, it was, I think like maybe the first 2/3 or 3/4 of this episode is like really, really good, actually.
I've said I like a lot of these. I've said I love some moments in a lot of these. But if I had to pick one so far that feels the most like maybe what I expected, maybe you're right, maybe that I like it so much because it's what I expected from the show, but it's also what feels the most like a real spiritual successor to Picard's story.
Right.
Unlike what the other ones are, which is like, the galaxy is on fire. Picard has to go save an android. And you're like, okay, and then everybody's killing everybody, and
right. This feels like an episode of TNG where they're like, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go sit down at the table and talk. Yeah, and that solves the problem.
Pretend that we're in the ready room is what Troy says, and it's like, finally, And Picard has different moments than he would have had in TNG, which is what's good about it, right? He gets put in his spot by Riker. Riker says, you're not ready to raise a kid, buddy, but you're going to have to raise a kid because that's a 3-year-old over there. And she's going to start to realize it when she's outside of her original programming, right? She knows what she is, and now you have to essentially raise her and get her to trust you. And you're not doing it.
He's like, I don't think you're ready for a teenager here, Picard. You know? Yeah.
You're not going to do it the old way. And Troy has the moments with her where she starts to plant the seeds of like, hey, bad things happen in the universe. You're going to have to get out there and figure it out for yourself, but you're going to have to trust somebody, And the sad thing with her son dying because people were afraid of synths, so there was no technology to save him.
Right.
It all feels really, really good in this episode, I think.
Yep. Very good.
Agnes throws up a lot.
Well, before we get to the part where Agnes, wait, is that first?
No, it's like in the middle of some of this when Rios and so the whole episode, Rios is trying to avoid Narek, who is tracking them, and they can't figure out how. Yes. Rios thinks it's Rafi.
Right. Rios thinks Rafi sold him out or is being tracked or whatever by some,
So Agnes starts freaking out because she knows she's got a tracker in her bloodstream somewhere.
Right.
So she eats too much cake and throws up all over the place.
Right. Thinking that would help, but it doesn't.
Nope.
And the, what's her name? Shoot, the lady Romulan. Narek's sister.
I don't remember her name.
Anyway. She confronts Hugh. Is like, I know you helped these people. Where'd they go? Show me how to get them back. Hugh holds out, of course, and then
which was great. I really loved that he wouldn't give him up. It was tragic. Good. It's so tragic.
It's sad. The whole thing,
He knows, right? Like
he knows he's done. It's bad.
He knows he's done, and so he's not going to give up Picard. He promised.
And then she's like, "Oh, you're protected by the treaty. I can't kill you." And he's like, all right, great. I'm going to go back and use that trajector thing and get out of here. And she's like,
ha. He said he's going to take the cube over.
Oh, did he say that?
Yeah, he said that he and Elnor are going to go take over the cube. He's done with this. The XBs are
he was going to release the XBs, right? That
basically,
was his thing?
Yeah. Okay. And he's going to release the Borg, and he's going to take over the cube and then figure it out later. And that's when she's like, nope, that's against the treaty. I can kill you now.
Yeah, and then just murders him.
He gets aced in the middle of a fight between Elnor and her, where, shocker, she cheats.
Yeah, what a surprise. I was like, okay. And then she says this line to Elnor, but which of course works on him because he's a moron. But like, is like, oh, this isn't how the Jad Vash and the Milan should fight.
Even though I've already shot at you.
Yeah, and she puts her gun away, and then they have a fist fight. And I'm like, she has a gun! Yeah. He has a sword! I don't care how good and fast he is, it's a gun! It's gonna win! Like, yeah. And then, obviously, she, like, you know, as soon as she knocks him away, she pulls out the gun and shoots him anyway. Like, you know, like, obviously, this is what was gonna happen here.
Yeah. Hugh gets caught in the crossfire. I really was bummed about that.
Really sad. His character.
Yeah, I liked him being back, and I thought, what a good way to use an old character, and that there would be more there for him to do, right? Like,
yeah, well,
Picard's not going to that cube to help the XBs, and now no one is.
Right. Well, now no one is because they're all dead. So I guess we've cleaned up that end of the story in an unsatisfying way.
Yeah. What a bummer. What a bummer.
Yeah. What a bummer indeed, man. That scene all plays out. And then this is where Jurati grows a conscience, right? And she's like, guess I have to inject myself with mega poison or whatever and block this tracker by having a coma? Is that what? And I think that's what ends up happening, right?
My read on this is that it's not well explained, that she injects herself with something that will get rid of the blood tracker device, but it causes severe neurological damage and sends her into a coma.
I see.
So I assume she has then neutralized the tracker at the expense of basically killing herself.
Okay. It wasn't clear to me if the tracker was being just neutralized
or her
just
being
like
in a coma.
Her being a coma did it. Yeah, I guess I don't know. We'll find out probably.
Yeah,
in the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
Elnor has a Fenris SOS button that no one ever told us about.
7 of 9 gave it to Picard.
She did,
but I don't know how that means that Elnor finds it on the cube.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
Unless it's another one, and
maybe. I guess he did live on a world where Fenris was in theory in charge.
I don't get how that one showed up with him. I assume it's the one 7 gave Picard because they made a big point about it. Her handing it over to him.
If that's the case, they should have shown Picard giving it to Elnor.
I guess they missed that or something.
I am frustrated that if that was the case, because I was like, he pulls this magically out of his pockets as like plot device. And it's like, oh, okay.
It was clear. Yeah, it was clear that was going to get used. Right. This is why she hands
Chekhov's SOS device.
Yeah,
is that
exactly.
What is that? Chekhov's gun is the thing, right?
Chekhov's gun. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Chekhov. We've had this before on this show. A lot of Chekhov's items in Star Trek.
The originator of Chekhov.
Different Chekhov, but that's okay.
Yeah, I know, but
I mean, it's a fantastic coincidence.
I know. I like to think it was fate.
So Chekhov does man the weapons. I'm just saying.
He does. That's what I'm saying. He had a gun.
Yeah.
He could have had a gun.
He probably did. A later version of this show would have had him have a gun, right? Like,
he uses a gun at some point.
I'm sure he does, but like Worf walks around with a gun all the time.
Oh, right. I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah.
And in the original show, no one had a gun unless they went to kill some alien on a planet.
Right. Yeah. Got to beam down with that gun.
Right. Yeah. You don't.
And the red shirts didn't get one.
No. Why would they need one? Hold your scanner in front of you. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Exactly. All right, so that's basically this episode, right? We're kind of at the end.
They figure out where they're going to go because of Kestra talking to Captain Crandall.
Crazy old guy.
I would love to meet this captain that Riker clearly has a problem with. right? Like
in a different show,
in a different show. Yes, there's another every episode. There's a different show, right? Where like, in another show, there's an episode where Riker has a beef with the captain across the lake.
I know, right?
You know,
and they're like putt-putting their two little boats around the lake, like staring each other down.
Yes,
like trying to keep up with the Joneses or something.
1,000% that. Oh man, where Riker had a big dog that kept getting into Crandall's garden.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
And they pick up Picard. They lose Rios and everything, or Rios loses Narek, and then back to wherever.
Now they're gonna have to go to the numbered planet. So I don't know. That's kind of it. We covered those a lot quicker, I guess, because the universe building has happened.
Yeah,
it's really about tone and plot now.
And we spent some time on the tone and the plot. Our feelings are now known.
Yeah, I'm good with where it's headed.
I am intent. So I thought there were only 8 episodes. So I am intensely curious then what they are going to do to round this show out.
Let's see. So Elnor and 7 of 9 have to do stuff with the Borg cube.
They showed that on Next Time. So
okay. I don't watch those because I make a point of never watching those with shows.
Well, sorry, I just told you.
It's fine. It's the assumption anyway. But I learned years and years and years ago that just seeing stuff to me will tell me what's going to happen in the next episode.
Sure.
Almost completely.
These shows aren't subtle.
No, and that's what bothers me about, we're going to hide what Captain O said.
Yeah.
It's just don't.
So, I am curious what they do with that. I don't know that I am super sure. So why is the story on the cube continuing? We have the
Elnor stuck there.
Well, but other than that, right? There's nothing that really matters going on. There's no reason to be at the cube anymore.
There is a leftover plot thread here where the Romulans are interested in the Borg for some reason.
Sure. Okay.
Why would because they're reclaiming Borg and they're not selling their parts. And there's all the Romulans that were assimilated by the Borg went nutso, and they're reclaiming Borg for whatever reason, but they don't explain why they're interested in them. And they have some sort of past history with the Zhat Vash and synthetics. So something's up with the Romulans and the Borg and synthetics that I've started to generate theories about, but it's so wide open that it could be kind of anything.
Yeah, it could be literally anything from this is just the thing they were doing to grand
chronometric signatures, man,
conspiracy and time
travel, all sorts of stuff could be happening, right?
Yeah,
I really hope it's time travel related. I really do.
Not getting my hopes up for that.
I know, but if it is, it would be so good. Oh my god! And they could tie it. They could tie it to the Kelvin universe.
Okay, let's just stop asking for stuff.
Man,
no, I'm raining on this parade.
Okay, it's probably much simpler.
Yeah, it's gonna be. The budget for this show isn't huge. Remember,
I know, but there's clearly some open plot thread there. There's
definitely something going on at the cube still, which I don't understand because, as far as I'm concerned, you could have killed Elnor and then not have to go back there.
There's a lot of times in this show that you could have explained what's going on with the Romulans. They're just choosing not to do it.
Yeah, so I guess maybe that's the thing where they're going to explain it now in one of these last episodes here because that's
right. Because 7 of 9 is going to show up at the cube and be like, whoa.
This is another plot thread whose wheels have been spinning for 5 episodes, and now it's time to reveal it eventually.
Right.
Well, I think generally we're pretty happy with where the series is going. Well, I don't know if we're pretty happy about it, but we are enjoying the show.
We got the episode we needed here.
Yes, for sure. This episode 7 here has been really good.
If 7 hadn't come along, not 7 of 9, but episode 7 with Riker and Troy had not come along, we'd be dipping a little bit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This really propped up the middle of the show. With
my enthusiasm would be flagging for sure.
It props up the middle of the show with a Yes, this is really still about Picard realizing his flaws much later in life, right?
Mm-hmm.
He says at the dinner table that he's basically sitting around waiting to die, and now he has a mission, and he's back in terms of understanding that with a mission, no one's going to stop him until he's done.
Right, yeah.
And maybe in this mission, he gets to understand who he is a little bit better in terms of his failings in the past. He's never failed, right? And when he does fail, he doesn't learn his lesson.
Right.
It's
definitely
clear
we learned that with the Romulan evacuation thing.
Right. And he doesn't learn his lesson with the Borg either, right? Like he gets irate like he did during First Contact when they talk about like the Borg and the Borg are a metastatic cancer and blah blah blah, you know.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's strong.
We'll have to see how we feel about it next time.
Yeah.
On another Subspace transmission, because
we're gonna finish.
We're gonna finish it.
We're gonna finish, right? Like next time we do this, Picard will be over.
Yeah, right. 4
Season
more episodes. Yeah,
over.
It'll be done. Yeah,
because there's only.
So I'm sure we will have a lot of thoughts.
Yeah. Exciting.
So, yes. Look forward to that, friends out there.
I can't believe it's only 3 more. That's short.
It is short.
It's probably good that it's short.
It is probably good.
If you have any thoughts on these episodes, stuff we missed, characterizations of characters you think we got wrong, or like, different opinions about episode 7, which you're wrong about, where would you send them?
You can send those to podcast@weweregamers.com. We will happily listen and read your emails, and we may reply to them on this show. Please send them in. We also, this very podcast is available many places, but certainly it's available in convenient, curated format on YouTube. If you go to YouTube and search for We Were Gamers, you can subscribe to us there. And Andrew is lovingly crafting these shows into a playlist for you, so you could just listen to all of them. This podcast is also available on your favorite podcast collector of choice. We're on Spotify and Stitcher and Apple and Google and wherever fine podcasts are distributed. And then, you can follow this show and the We Were Gamers in general on all the social media out there. Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, We Were Gamers, all those places.
Her name's Narissa.
How would we know that?
I don't know.
Don't think I ever hear her name.
I don't either. He just says sister.
Yeah.
They have a weird relationship. It's very Romulan spy thing. Et in Arcadia Ego.
What?
Is a 16...
Andrew, are you okay?
Is a 1637 to 38 painting by Nicolas Poussin, the leading painter of the classical French. So Nicolas Poussin, the leading painter of the classical French Baroque style. It depicts a pastoral scene with idealized shepherds from antiquity gathered around an austere tomb. This is the name of the final 2 episodes of this show.
Okay.
That's what it's called. The last 2 episodes are part 1 and part 2. Et in Arcadia Ego. Even in Arcadia, there I am.
Okay.
Arcadia means utopia. I refers to death. Even in utopia, death awaits.
I feel like you just spoiled the end for me there or something.
I don't know. I mean, you can't spoil something with an episode title, can you?
I don't know. I don't believe in spoilers anyway, so whatever.
You and Tim Rogers should get on a podcast together.
Who?
You and Tim Rogers.
Oh yeah, I would do that. I would love to talk with Tim Rogers.
He is. You have seen his thing about spoilers?
Oh, I did. That video about spoilers is hilarious. it's also all tongue in cheek. So